It looks like I am live. All right, happy Friday, everybody. I wanted to jump on a Facebook Live and just kind of have a heart-to-heart chat with you about check engine lights. It might seem kind of weird that I'm talking about check engine lights, but if you've been around me for a little bit, you know that I use check engine lights, like what a car has to let you know that something's not working right, as a image for the way the body will whisper symptoms to you to let you know that something isn't right or that you're headed in a direction that isn't great. The problem is that we we just suck at listening. And I've done a couple reels on this. If you've seen them, then you know. Um, Here's the deal with your body will whisper. And when you don't listen, your body starts screaming. So in my practice, I work with a ton of chronic symptoms, chronic disease, autoimmune, mold, blood sugar issues, a lot of menopausal issues. Fun fact, your body is really not supposed to actually fall apart in menopause. Falling apart in menopause is a result of really 30 to 40 years of abusing your body through diet and lifestyle, and also not listening to your body whisper and ignoring those check engine lights. Other countries around the world, they don't actually have menopause wreck their health the way we do in our country. So what does it look like when the body is whispering? Well, it can look like fatigue, it can look like brain fog, it can look like mood swings, anxiety, depression, not sleeping great, meaning you either can't turn your brain off to fall asleep, or you fall asleep, but then you're up 2 to 3 hours later, or you're tossing and turning all night, or you're waking up to pee multiple times a night, or you feel like you're getting your deepest sleep right as that dang alarm is about to go off. And then you just lay there like, oof, this feels like a sick joke. How am I supposed to get up and deal with today? And you just end up in this space where you're just pushing through. It can look like walking into a room and being like, the heck did I walk in this room for? Or it can look like being in conversation and then all of a sudden, bear with me. Oh my gosh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. What was I going to say? It can look like that. Okay. So when I was in my healing journey, I had all of these check engine lights and nobody could tell me what was going on or why it was happening. And it eroded my self-confidence and it eroded my self-esteem and my self-worth. Because when you're not functioning the way you know you should be functioning, it's embarrassing. And here's the problem. As women, we weaponize this. Guys do not do this. I would say 98% of my clients are women, but I do have male clients. Guys don't struggle with this. They're like, oh, my body's not working right. Let me fix it. Women, and I get it because this was me too. We are like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I do better? There is a difference between you and what you're capable of and the dysfunction that your body is experiencing. Here's the other problem with check engine lights. Not only are we ignoring them and not listening to them, but symptoms can really overlap, man. Like you can chase the wrong rabbit and then end up in a space where you feel like nothing works for you. Let me give you an example, real client story. So let's give her the name Betty, okay? Betty reached out to me because Betty was concerned that they had kidney issues. They were waking up to pee multiple times a night. They were having both urinary urgency and frequency. So ladies, if this is you, and this was me at one point in my journey too, if you are standing in the kitchen doing something, then all of a sudden you're like, and I am now actively peeing my pants. There's a couple reasons that can happen. It's not a part of aging. It's not a part of menopause. It is dysfunction. So Betty comes to me and she's really concerned that she's got kidney disease. So we do some assessments, we do some testing, we look at what's going on with Betty, and Betty does not have kidney dysfunction. Betty has blood sugar dysfunction. So much so that she is having kidney symptoms. But when we look at the assessment, we organ map her body, we see that kidney function is actually still great. And this is good news because this means that we still have some play with her check engine light. So we start normalizing the blood sugar response and supporting that in her body. And Betty starts sleeping and not waiting to pee. Betty starts going longer without having to know where a toilet is or experience incontinence. We start stabilizing her body. Now, if we thought that this was a kidney thing and we didn't know what we didn't know, we would be chasing the wrong rabbit. Meanwhile, Betty's dysfunction would continue to increase and escalate, and it would cause other dominoes to fall. So here's the thing about dysfunction. And I'm going to look at this just through a broad lens, and then I'm going to get specific, just so you understand how high the stakes actually are. Dysfunction is a slow burn in your body, okay? It is cumulative. It is like a house burning with all the windows and doors shut. That smoke is going to build and build and build and build to the point where now you can't see the flame and you don't actually know what's causing what. Why do we care about this? We care about this because on average, let's take cancer as an example. Most of us know somebody that has been touched by cancer or we've been touched by it personally. And I'm not immune from that. I've been really transparent with my story about my mom's pancreatic cancer. Cancer on average is 10 to 20 years of cellular dysfunction before a tumor starts. You don't just all of a sudden get cancer. You have ignored your check engine lights for 10 to 20 years, and now the dysfunction has turned on genetic expression for cancer. So I'm going to circle back to my mom. Deeply personal story. I don't typically share a lot of it publicly, but I think it's really relevant because I don't know how else to convey to the masses that you are playing with fire when you choose to ignore and normalize your check engine lights. My mom had heartburn and was on heartburn medication for 14 years. I tried to communicate to her that heartburn is an indication of gut dysbiosis and delayed food sensitivities. And the response I always got back from my mom was, "You'll see when you get there, Kel. This is just what happens as we get older because our country has monetized sickness and we have normalized disease and dysfunction." And you might think that's a hot take, and I'm totally cool with you thinking it's a hot take because I know what I know and I know what I see in practice. So my mom stayed on an antacid for 14 years. And unfortunately, the antacid that she was on, they knew for 40 years that it caused pancreatic cancer. Chew on that for a second. They legally sold something that they had data for 40 years showing caused pancreatic cancer. So then my mom, the dysfunction progressed. The antacid just keeps you comfortable. And it messes up your body, causes deficiencies. There's never a way to do a pharmaceutical in a way where Peter doesn't know Paul. It just is what it is. Sometimes it's a necessary evil, but most times it's not. We just need to listen to our dang check engine lights. So my mom is on this antacid. The dysfunction is still happening in her body, but she's comfortable as it happens. Then she gets diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and because of this particular pharmaceutical, it was treatment resistant, but that did not stop them from doing all the things in her journey that did nothing for her quality or quantity of life. That's a whole separate story. My point is that I would challenge you to not lie to yourself. Do not think that staying comfortable in dysfunction as you march to disease has anything to do with health. It is convenience at the cost of your quality and your quantity of life. What I would propose to you is that instead of just band-aiding the problem and pretending like that check engine light doesn't matter because you've just turned off the light and not fixed the problem, don't lie to yourself that it's going to end well. It's not going to end well. If you were driving a car and you just were annoyed at that check engine light, you didn't actually want to deal with it, and you just put tape over it or did the little weird code that sometimes you can do where it's like brake pedal, ignition, or whatever it used to be back in the day. And that light goes off because it clears the code, but the problem is still there. You would not actually be surprised when your car breaks down. You would be like, well, I rolled the dice and I pressed my luck and this is where I'm at. hear me say that we do the same dang thing with our health. We are taught to normalize dysfunction. We chalk it up to menopause, we chalk it up to aging, we chalk it up to genetics. Those things can be factors, but they are not root causes, okay? Then we get to this place where we are on medication and we don't feel well, we're not sleeping well, and our brain's not working right, and we're gaining weight, and we don't age in a way that supports quality of life. And then we act surprised or frustrated, like, man, I didn't see that coming. And I'm sitting over here like, if you saw it from my lens, you would say, how are you surprised when you had this warning, this warning, this warning, this warning, this warning, this warning, and this warning, but you chose not to do anything about it because you didn't advocate for yourself and you just accepted that it was normal instead of saying, okay, but just because it's normal in our country doesn't mean it's what I want. I want health. I want to live my best life. I want to stay active and vital as I age. There's always a choice. So why am I jumping on and doing this live about this? I am doing it because I have a resource that is all about understanding check engine lights. And I have a live class that I'm teaching on May 23rd, teaching you about check engine lights and how to recognize them and what they mean and how to move forward from that. And I would encourage you, if you know you have check engine lights, there is no better time than now to do something about it and potentially turn the ship around while you have plenty of time. So I will put some information in the comments if this is you. If it's not you, keep trucking, totally cool with it. But if it's you and you know something's not right and you know it's probably not normal and you know that you aren't really where you want to be with your health or where you thought you would be with your health, this is for you. And I'll put information in the comments. If you want to chat with me about something, please reach out to me. I am more than happy to have a conversation with you. I am all about educating and empowering you so that you can step into optimal health and you can live your best life. So I'm going to jump off. If you're watching this not live, put your comments in. I will respond. I'm all about communication and paying it forward, and I will put the information in the comments. I want you all to have a happy and a healthy Friday, and I hope that you love yourself enough to advocate for yourself and join the check engine light masterclass that I'm going to be teaching on May 23rd.